What's up, guys? Isaac here with a Prot Warrior not tutorial. I'll have gameplay for another video, but a kind of how-to. First off, with the Prot Warrior, let's go into talents. My talents I chose would be Juggernaut for faster charging, like chain pulls. Second Wind, but this is all situational depending on if you're in a raid or dungeon, because bosses will hit you hard and second one may not get a chance to proc. In that case, you go with Enrage Regen. Just basically a 10% health over 10 seconds. Right now I have Piercing Howl because it doesn't really matter for the shouts in PvE situations. Disrupting Shout could be pretty good, but not really that important. I choose for this 60 talent tree Bladestorm. Bladestorm is pretty good for when you are pulling lots of mobs and you want to get good damage flowing for easy aggro control. Shockwave, it sends out a stun, only targets in front of you. Most bosses are immune to the stun, so that's why I don't choose Bladestorm. Dragon's Roar, it does lots of damage just in this quick burst. I don't really like it because it's a quick burst, and when you're trying to get aggro, you want good damage and good over time. For this level 75 tree, I chose Mass Spell Reflect. Really doesn't matter but if I were to do PvE, I'd definitely choose Safeguard for if a guy is about to take a heavy hit from a boss. Like, I can't really throw a boss out there, but like if someone's about to take a pretty heavy hit, you put Safeguard on your bars, you charge them, and boom, they're gonna be okay. This level 90 tree is all about DPS, so it's not that important. What you could do here would be something like Avatar Bladestorm for big aggro, Bloodbath Bladestorm for good aggro, and Stormbolt's kind of a single target, so it really doesn't matter. For the glyphs, Shield Block, Heavy Repercussion. Whenever I pop Shield Block, which is basically gives you a lot of blocking chance, you can hit everyone 50% harder with your extra shield blocks, which means when you pop your shield block, you can hit pretty hard. Hold the Line improves the damage of your next revenge by a following percent after a next parry. I choose this because when you're pulling lots of mobs, you're going to parry a lot and it's going to proc a lot, so your revenge is going to be just slamming the targets over and over again. Glyph of Hindering Strikes, your heroic strike and cleave now reduce the target's movement speed by 50% for 8 seconds. I chose that because you know that when you're attacking someone and these are some of your core abilities, if there's a mob that has the ability to run away, that's going to keep them from ever trying to do that. So yeah, that stops them. Yeah, I could get Shield Reflection, but there's too much going on to ever really focus on that. Gag Order is just worthless now. Good choice would also be Insight. Has a 20% chance to reduce the cost of heroic strike, so a 10 rage heroic strike. Recklessness doesn't really matter to me because I am PvP. And Shield Wall, I thought that would be stupid because it's kind of one of those abilities where if you're taking a lot of damage, you're gonna want it, but in most boss fights, you're not going to be taking a lot of damage that fast in a time. Or if you are, you're taking a ton of damage. And what happens if the damage comes back? You're not going to have your cooldown back. So that's why I didn't pick that. And minor glyphs are just minor glyphs. Now, how your rotation would want to be for, I guess I'll give you guys single target and multi-target. For a single target, you would run in with your charge. Then you would hit a Shield Slam, Thunderclap, Revenge, 3 Devastates, Thunderclap again, and then Bladestorm. That could give you permanent aggro, but if you do continue your rotation, those would be the only buttons you hit. You would not want to worry about your heroic strike unless you have enough rage when you're not hitting your two main abilities here, which are shield barrier and shield block. Shield block increases your block chance. That's pretty great, but it costs 60 rage, which basically makes heroic strike less likely to be chosen. And then you've got shield barrier. Shield barrier only costs 20 rage, but it absorbs only 20k damage, consuming up to 60 rage. Once you hit 60 rage, it will do way more than 18,000. I can guarantee you that. And also, it increases by how much attack power you have via vengeance, which means the more you get hit, the more attack power you get, and the more your shield barrier is going to absorb. Major cooldowns here major cooldowns here would be shield wall, reducing 40% of damage taken permanently. Last stand, increasing your current health by 30%. Demoralizing shout, reducing the damage that all mobs do by 20%. Of course, one of your trinkets. Avatar for the lulz. And demoralizing banner increases the damage they do by another 10%. Those would be, oh, and I am an engineer, so I have these perks with the rocket boost and the glider. But, oh, and I almost forgot, the shout you want to have up at all times would have to be commanding shout, unless there's a priest in your group. Then you would want to hit battle shout, or any, not necessarily a priest, but anyone that walks to your group with the stamina buff. I can't name a bunch off the top of my head, but I know that like some classes have a certain ability that will make them give you a stamina buff. If there's a Death Knight or another warrior in your group, you'll always hit commanding shout, but if there's a Death Knight, he'll probably hit his Horn of Winter, which will make you commanding shout. So your buffs are all situational depending on the class around you. That has been my time, ladies and gentlemen.